Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadeshatarne Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchkalpatribhyascha kripas sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ke, Srila Prabhupada ke. So one devotee has come in to join me. All right. Anyway, so, yeah, we left off. We read verse 31. Let me just read, just so we get back into the flow of it. Let me just read the translations of verse 30 and 31, which we read on Friday, I know, and then we'll go on to the next section. All right, so verse 30. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible, scorching rays. 31. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. All right, so that's how we finished up on Friday evening. Arjuna wants to know, who are you really, Krishna? In other words, Arjuna's thinking, I thought I knew you. They have known each other. You know how old they are now, so to speak? They are what? They're in their 90s. They're around 90 or thereabouts. Hare Krishna. They're around 90. And they're cousins or cousin brothers. So they know each other. How well do you know a person if you've been together 90 years? So Arjuna's thinking that he's saying, I thought I knew you. I thought I really knew you so well. But now I see you in just a totally different way, to put it as mildly as one possibly could. So 2 points, particularly, main points. Who are you? And what is your mission? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? Very good questions. So we go on then to the third section in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's very short. It's verses 32, 33, and 34. And we call this, Time I Am, so become my instrument. Right. All right, so that was those were the 2 questions. Who are you? What's your mission? Krishna is going to address them and sort of expand on them a little bit. So here we go. I'll read the 3 verses, and then we'll go back through them as we normally do. So verse 32, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." Verse 33, "Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies, and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. And you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight." And verse 34, "Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle." Strong words from Lord Krishna. All right, so let's go back through them. Verse 32, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I've come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." Sure. All right, so, well, Lord Krishna answers the 2 questions. Who is he? He's time. And what is his mission in that capacity? His mission is to destroy everyone. Yes. And, you know, time in this world, time is such a powerful thing. We have mentioned before, I think we mentioned on Friday, Thursday or Friday or both days, how Chanakya Pandit made the point, and Srila Prabhupada accepted it. He really accepted it strongly. That time is so valuable that if you lose even 1 second, you cannot buy it back for all the money, for anything, for the whole world, even 1 second. Time is so valuable. So we say sometimes that it is like a super energy. It's a super energy of the Lord. It is dominating everything. You know, was it yesterday or the day before? I forget, but it was yesterday, or maybe it was yesterday, or the day before. I put up on my Facebook pages a photo of myself from my youth. Did you see that? Did you see that? Okay, yeah. I was a teenager, late teens. I'd left school, I think so. I left school when I just turned 17. Yeah, so it's like 17, 18. And, well, have a look and see. And then have a look at, you know, there's so many photos and videos of me around, like on our Facebook pages and so on. And just compare, what has happened. different. more than 50 years ago, more than 50, 52, 50, 53, huh? Anyway, but my point is, time, what does time do to a person? If you see that there's this smiling young boy, oh, happy days, life is good. I don't know, it was not so good in those days, I tell you what. But anyway, it looks like that. But look at me now. I'm an old man. I'm 69. I'm an old man. And there's nothing that anyone can do about such things. There's nothing. Time is just irrevocably, unstoppably moving forward in this world and taking everything and everyone with it and destroying. Just like we read on Friday, that very vivid description. Arjuna is seeing the warriors and so many people being eaten, literally eaten, in the mouths of the universal form, crushed between the teeth. It sounds, it sounds shocking. I mean, it is shocking. But it's not just the warriors on that battlefield that was going to happen with. That's going to happen with you and me, devotees. Please, we must understand that. We must understand that. That's the nature of this world. In other words, the nature of this world ultimately is one of destruction. People, living entities come into being, meaning they get their new body when they're born, and they're young and they go through that youthful period, but then you reach a certain point and everything starts going downhill, because the whole program is to be destroyed. And what happens in the meantime is just a sort of an interlude until the destruction happens. So therefore Krishna says here that at least in this context of the universal form and his energies, his manifestations in the material world, what is he all about? He is all about destruction. And what happens between birth and destruction, it's kind of by the way. It's by the way. Means it's sort of incidental. It's not so important, because none of it will last. Right, so Arjuna, though, like we said, Arjuna's in a state of shock, because he thought he knew Krishna. He thought he knew him just like really well, so close for so many years. And now here's something which is like total opposite and just horrific, like almost unimaginably horrible. Oh, what a contrast. And Arjuna is feeling like that, is there something schizophrenic going on here? A split personality. Are you familiar with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Are you familiar? Have you heard about them? This person who during the day he was this nice gentleman, but at night he became a serial murderer. But then the next morning he was pleasant and nice. It's kind of like schizophrenic, if you know what I mean. Two personalities, two aspects to the character of a person which are just totally different. So it's a form of madness, of course. It's a form of madness. So Arjuna was thinking that Krishna was something like that. Something like that. So nice. Just so lovable. But now just so horrible. So, it's an interesting question. We won't really get into it now. But we do sometimes when we give classes on these couple of verses around here. Which is the real Krishna? That's a good question, isn't it? Which is the real Krishna? The nice Krishna, the friend, very affectionate and merciful, helpful in many ways, or this horrible, shocking, just destructive person? Who's the real one? And so when we do give classes on these verses, sometimes we ask the devotees, which is the real one, the nice one or the nasty one? Or are they both? And, well, the real answer is the nice one. The nice one is the real Krishna. Because the universal form, it's not exactly a person. It's just different features of the material world, different displays of Krishna's energy, sort of put together. And when we read the other day, when the universe is destroyed, the universal form is destroyed, because the universe is the universal form. Yeah. So, and even the universe, actually, it's an important point, which we've also read and discussed about on a few occasions in the seminar. Even the universe, what is the purpose of the universe? And all the, the difficulty which is there, and all the destruction. What is the purpose? The purpose is to reform us, to help us get out of our terrible illusion. Oh, amazing illusion. We've got things so wrong. What is this world? Who am I? What should I do? And what is success? What is happiness? We've got it so wrong. So the universe is here by Krishna's arrangement to correct us. So that's Krishna's mercy, Krishna's kindness. Right. So anyway, that's there, isn't it? That's something to meditate on, that the real Krishna is the merciful Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, you'll see there in the middle, more or less, of the purport, Prabhupada quotes Katha Upanishad 1-25, and Prabhupada gives a translation Eventually all the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. I must say that a more literal translation of that verse is, who knows the Lord, for whom the Brahmins and Kshatriyas are his food, and death is the source. Hare Krishna. Wow. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, this is, where's this now? It is, if Arjuna was not in favor. Yeah, it's just after that verse, a couple of sentences, 2 or 3 sentences after that verse, Prabhupada explains Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight, then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. They're already dead by Krishna's arrangement. Okay, verse 33. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They're already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. So it's all, effectively, it's already done, because it's Krishna's desire, it's Krishna's plan. And Prabhupada would say sometimes that, for example, Lord Chaitanya wants his movement to spread all over the world. So it'll happen. It's going to happen. And if we just participate and serve and help as much as we can, we will get the credit. Yes, we'll get the credit. Although it's actually being done, it's practically already done by the arrangement, in the case of this movement, by the arrangement of Lord Chaitanya. So yes, so Arjuna, you're not exactly, it's not all about you and fighting and you and killing and should you kill or should you not kill or should you fight or should you do something else or what should you do. It's Krishna's plan. It will happen, and it's just a question of who will get the credit by participating. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Sri Giri Govardhan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Yes, so there's no doubt, and Arjuna doesn't need to be so mental. He doesn't need to be so mental. The Lord's plan is already there, it's happening, and whether anyone likes it or not, or accepts it or not, or opposes it, it's going to happen anyway. Srila Prabhupada makes the point in the purport, the whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature's moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this, or maybe like that, but there's no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What's this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. Yes, so Prabhupada here in the purport, basically Prabhupada's emphasizing this whole point about the plan of the Lord. But if people, that's what is going on actually, is the plan of the Lord. But if people have a sort of a dominating type of mood, Prabhupada says, as long as they have a domineering mentality, they want to lord it over material nature, then they're conditioned and they cannot see it like that. But intelligent people, devotees, can recognize his plan and surrender to him. Srila Prabhupada says in a conversation. Yes, okay, so one devotee, Vishnu Jan actually, asks Prabhupada a question. Srila Prabhupada, what did Bhaktivinoda Thakur mean when he said, I am going, my work unfinished? Meaning, he's going to die, leave his body, but his work is unfinished. Prabhupada, then let us finish. We're descendants of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so he kept unfinished so that we shall get the chance to finish it. That is his mercy. He could have finished immediately. He is Vaishnav. He is all-powerful. But he gave us chance that you, foolish people, you all also work. That is his mercy. So we should pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur that we are your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So we've got some right to beg some mercy from you. The grandchildren get some indulgence from the grandfather. So I pray like that. It is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy. A Vaishnav can. Krishna doesn't require anyone's help. Still he's asking, surrender to me. He doesn't require anyone's surrender, but it is for his good, for the one who surrenders. That's us. It's for our good. Not Krishna is in need of anyone's service. He is complete, but he comes as if he is in helpless condition and asking for us to surrender. So that is for his good, means our good, for one who is surrendered, for his good. He'll get the result. Krishna is self-sufficient. Similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is self-sufficient. But if he said that I'm keeping unfinished, that means he gave us the chance, the opportunity. So we should always pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur to be merciful upon us so that we can execute his unfinished task. That should be and never we should think that what Bhaktivinoda Thakur could not finish, I have finished. We should never think like that. He was unable, so I finished. It's his mercy to give us some service. 34. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Yeah, so it's the same idea. In the purport, Prabhupada again talks about the plan of the Lord. He's so kind and merciful that, Prabhupada says, he's so kind and merciful to his devotees, he wants to give the credit to his devotees who carry out his plan according to his desire. Yeah, so like this. We should all act in Krishna consciousness, understanding everything by the direction of the spiritual master. And if we do like that, we'll be successful. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. All right, so now we go on to the fourth section, from verse 35 to verse 46. And we've titled that Arjuna's Prayers. Okay. Anyway, let's see how far we get. Let's see how far we get. And of course, obviously, we're going to continue tomorrow. All right, Arjuna's prayers. So there's a subsection. The first subsection is from verse 35 to verse 40. And it's basically Arjuna very humbly glorifying Lord Krishna, more or less. So it's 35 to 40. Let's read through those verses, and then we'll say some words. 35. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. All right, so Arjuna is going to respond to what Krishna just said. Who he is, what his plan is, and how everything goes according to his plan. And indeed, right now on the battlefield, it is going according to his plan, and it will go according to his plan. So just relax. Stop being so mental and just being an anxiety. All right, so Arjuna is going to respond. That's verse 35 in a faltering voice. And verse 36. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. 37. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material nature. 38. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. 39. You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. 40. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Krishna, Krishna. All right, so let's have a look at these verses. Okay. Verse 35. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Okay, anyway, basically the point is that he's going to respond. Okay. So now he starts responding. I mean, it's interesting in that it does remind us, 35 does remind us that actually Bhagavad Gita is being spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. It sort of crops up from time to time to remind us. And here it is cropped up again. All right, so then verse 36, Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Yes, so, you want to hear an interesting thing? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this verse is famous in Mantra Shastra for its ability to give protection from Rakshasas. Haribol. That's something to bear in mind. In Mantra Shastra, those scriptures in which you find all different mantras for this purpose and that purpose and many purposes, this verse is famous there for its ability to give protection from Rakshasas. Anyway, of course, it's interesting in that it is another one of these verses in Bhagavad Gita. There's a few of them which are emphasizing the chanting of the holy names. You remember in the 9th chapter, not long ago, just a couple of weeks ago or so, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. What is the first characteristic, the first noticeable thing about a Mahatma, an advanced devotee? Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Such a person is always, constantly chanting the names of Krishna. So this also, the world becomes joyful upon hearing the Lord's names. And therefore, through the names, everyone becomes attached to Krishna. Everyone progresses spiritually. Yes, so an interesting little point is that this is spoken, of course, it is not Kali Yuga, it is still Dwapara Yuga, and it will be for some time, I mean not a long time by cosmic standards, but Krishna only leaves this world, as I've read, 31 years. I think it's 31, or is it 36? There's, I think, 31 years after the battle. So it's not Kali Yuga yet. But still, Krishna's emphasizing the chanting of the holy names. It's not, in Dwapara Yuga, the chanting is not the Yuga Dharma. And it's also interesting, in the beginning of chapter 4, Krishna explains how he spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god, that was also not Kali Yuga, because on the sun, it's a heavenly planet. They certainly don't have a Kali Yuga like we do, you know, just a complete crazy time. It may be a little noticeable that things are not quite as good as they were, but it's not like some radical difference. And Lord Krishna taught the same things, including the chanting of the holy names, at that time too. So these are interesting little points. And Arjuna is acknowledging that, you know, people become happy by chanting your names, that's great, but the demons don't like it. And that's also okay. Yeah, they run away. And he says, all this is rightly done. So in other words, whatever happens to everyone and anyone in the battle will be right by Krishna's mercy. 37. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material world. And we can note that right in the beginning here, Srila Prabhupada says, by this offering of obeisances, the beginning of the purport, by this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. Yes. So Arjuna is expressing his realizations, his appreciations of the Lord, that what is he? He's respected. Why should they not offer their respectful obeisances to you? Because you are limitless. You are God of the gods, or the demigods. Or he's even the Lord of his expansions and incarnations. He's the refuge of the universe, the invincible source, the cause of all causes. He's the source of Brahma. He's greater even than Brahma, greater than Shiva, the original creator. These are Arjuna's realizations and appreciations of how extraordinary is Krishna. 38. You're the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. So, yeah, well, it's sort of, you know, the same sort of theme, obviously. And Prabhupada notes that, you see in the middle of the purport, he's the knower of everything that is happening in this world. And if knowledge has any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because he's all-pervading. Because he is the cause in the spiritual world, he is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. Krishna is a super person. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and again. Yeah, okay. Not just the elements, but the demigods who control them. And now he begins offering obeisances thousands of times. And 40 obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. In other words, Arjuna doesn't really know what to do. So all he can think to do is offer obeisances. And again, and again, and from the front, and the back, and the sides, and both sides, and then from the front again, thousands of times. As far as he can see, that's all that's appropriate, because Krishna is such a great person. You are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. So, yeah. So he doesn't know, Arjuna doesn't really know what would be appropriate in terms of what to do. What's appropriate? Should I bow down? Should I just stand there like that? Should I say a couple of words? But he doesn't know what to do. And he's just so overwhelmed, so impressed, that all he can think of is obeisances. That's what I should do. So just again and again and again, and just on and on. And we've still got 10 minutes, so let's go through the next subsection. It's from verse 41 to 44. Yeah. And it's Arjuna begging forgiveness. That's the idea. So let's read the verses. 41 and 42. Thinking of you as my friend, I've rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. 43. You are the Father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one's greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? And 44. You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. Okay, so back to 41 and 42. Thinking of you as my friend, I've rashly addressed you. O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories, please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I've dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. Well, yeah, an interesting little point is that Krishna is still showing the universal form. Yes, Krishna's still showing, Prabhupada notes it in the purport, Krishna's still showing the universal form, but Arjuna is remembering his friendly relationships. So he's apologizing. We have a little analysis here. He's apologizing first that I've addressed you, O Krishna. So what does this mean? By addressing Krishna as Krishna, he is recognizing Krishna as the son of Vasudeva, who is a lesser Kshatriya. Vasudeva is a Kshatriya, but he's not one of these big warrior Kshatriyas like the Pandavas. He's a minister, yeah. So he's a lesser Kshatriya. And Arjuna was acknowledging that not so important, because you're the son of Vasudeva, and he's, a secondary Kshatriya. Then Yadava. O Yadava. The Yadu dynasty, they're a dynasty of Kshatriyas who are under Hastinapur, under the Kauravas, because Arjuna is a Kaurava. Yeah, so they're under, the Yadus are under the Pandavas, or they should be, yeah. So by addressing him, by saying, "Oh Yadava," he's recognizing Krishna that you're a member of a lower family beneath us. And, yeah, and oh my friend, it's like I'm doing you a favor by accepting you as a friend, because you're in a lower position. But I'm nice, I'm generous, so I'm saying, oh my friend, instead of addressing you in some sort of as some sort of lower person. But then Krishna is so kind and merciful, he accepts those positions. Krishna never complained that, listen, I'm not just the son of a lesser Kshatriya. Krishna never complained like that. I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all right. He just accepted it in friendship, in love, and carried on like that. So Prabhupada concludes the purport, the relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. 43. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You're its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one's greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? He wants to offer the maximum respect, basically. Yes. Maximum respect is to the Father and to the spiritual master. Yes. So he's addressing him as Father and spiritual master. And we have a special question here for those of you doing the Bhakti Shastri, based on this verse 43, but referring to Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 8, verse 134. It looks like it is Madhya Lila 8, 134. Ramananda Roy then began to speak on Krishna Tattva. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said. He's personally the original Godhead, the source of all incarnations, and the cause of all causes. So we want you to remember what is the verse number in which Krishna is being referred to as the greatest and the cause of all causes. It's Madhya Lila, chapter 8, verse 134 and verse 44. You're the Supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. So Arjuna's manifesting three rasas there of being a son, of being a friend, and of being a husband. A son who's loved by the father, a friend who's loved by the friend, and then the wife who is loved by the husband who tolerates the familiarity. So Arjuna is saying, I'm like the son. I was impudent, but the father tolerates that. And a friend tolerates the impertinence of a friend. Or the husband tolerates the familiarity of his wife because of the affection which is there. So like this, in these three rasas, because of the loving natures of these types of relationships, the people are prone to forgive offenses from their close associates. So Arjuna is saying, please forgive me for all these wrongs and this rudeness that I've expressed before you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.